How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. Happy Wednesday. It is the big thing. So we're going to be talking about some Star Wars news. There's not a lot of it, but Ahsoka's coming up right around the corner. There's some new character posters. There's this big rumor that there's going to be another Star Wars movie, and it's going to be Mandalorian Season 4, except we're not getting Season 4 on TV. We're getting it as a movie. True? False? Who knows? Sonic. You ever heard of that guy? Well, yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog. Apparently he's going to be filming scenes during the strike without actors. So I guess they're allowed to do that. We'll talk about that. A few other things that are going on box office-wise. Speaking of box office, Elemental was a movie that everyone thought was going to be another stinker, and it did something very rare. It started to fight back, and it looks like it's made some money now, but that took some time to do. And Disney put out a statement of it because they needed to, because all their movies were eating farts, and they finally had one that kind of came back and fought back. So we'll talk about that also. Yeah, you got Loki right around the corner. That and more. I got Mike Kalinowski on the show. So, before you even do anything else, hit that button. Show a little. We're at 87,000. We're approaching 90. So we're not too far off from 100,000. We're going to try to hit that by the end of the year. I think we can do it, and we hope that you guys will join us. And I'm going to try something new here. So, streamlabs.com/theschmodown. If you want to throw in a question to be featured on the next episode of The Big Thing, head on over to streamlabs.com/theschmodown. Drop a question over there. I will ask it on the following show. So if you ask on today's show, then on the show with Roxy and myself, I will answer those questions. So there you go, everybody. Here it is. It's a brand new thing I'm trying. So enjoy it. All right, let's get to it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. It's a big thing. I haven't had the crew on in a little bit, and it hasn't been this guy's fault. I'll be honest with you.
It hasn't been my fault.
It was not your fault.
I was raring and ready to go 2 weeks in a row.
You were.
But just things were different.
Things were different. Last week, because also, you what people don't realize, and maybe some people do, some people don't, but Mike, you take it out, you make sure on your schedule you're able to take a break, come on over here, a little bit of a distance to get over here, too. And last week he's like, "Are we doing this?" And I had Chris Carr, and I already had made plans for an earlier breakfast leading into the show, and it just didn't work out timing wise. But you're here now.
I'm here,
and we're going to talk about some stuff. You and I are going to go to the Ahsoka kind of premiere event.
Yeah, next Thursday. Right?
How you feeling about that? Because you're on the fence.
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? Tell me your thoughts.
I don't know. I'm
killing it.
I wish I was excited. I don't know. I should be excited. We host a show called Sith Council. I should be excited.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know what I saw? I saw a lot of our Star Wars friends that are in our circle. Laura Kelly, the great Laura Kelly.
Yeah.
She was just like, if this show sucks, I'm going to be. And then she posted this YouTube video. It's pretty funny. So someone like her to be thinking on the fence about it. I don't mind me showing up on the fence about it, but it caught me as a rare even she's a little well, if this thing sucks.
Well, I think she's going to be on board because
I think so.
But I'll tell you though,
I think if it sucks, she's going to be crushed.
There was a report the other day that came out. I think it was Entertainment Weekly was talking to Carrie Beck, and she said that because they asked her, "Are people going to be lost if they don't watch Rebels?" And she said, "No." Oh, look, we got an ad. What's that? Perfect. Who cares? It doesn't matter anymore.
All right, it's all right.
It's fine. But she said that it's going to be, you don't have, that Filoni was very conscious of it and made sure.
We'll find out.
Yeah, but he said it's you're not going to have to. I'll tell you, though, I'm more in your, I don't think that's necessarily true. I'll tell you, I think
it's going to be insider baseball, that show. That show's going to be insider baseball.
I hope not. I really hope not, because it's going to, because it's going to be, for me, I'm going to love it. If it's connected to Rebels, and it plays the same way that Rebels did, I'm gonna love it, because I like that show. But I don't know, man. I think that you might be right when it comes to. I want to see how many questions you have. That's why I wanted to bring you on to this event, because I want to see if you leave it going, because we're gonna do an out of the theater reaction right afterwards.
Okay.
And I want to get.
That'll be genuine.
Yeah, I know. I want to see, as someone, I think that's going to be the most. Your take will be way more important than mine on that one, because it's going to be for people who are I've never watched Rebels before. Yeah. What did he think? Because he was skeptical of it going in.
Yeah.
But the character designs have been pretty great. You see the character designs that came out. These posters just came out, and these two. I mean, look at that. I mean, they look great, right?
Great. Yeah.
So it's a matter of how.
I don't think Star Wars has never not looked great. Right. In the Disney Plus era, on anything, regardless of how the shows have been since, Nothing's come out. We're like, ooh, that doesn't. Well, I shouldn't say that. But anyway.
What?
The Vespa thing and the Book of Boba Fett, those things still look like crap.
Yeah, the Spy Kids.
I
Spy
take
Kids
that what I said.
Yeah, there's some things that look silly sometimes, but I mean, I think overall they've had some pretty good.
Yeah, they have.
They've had some pretty good,
and especially
imagery.
this kind of. It's like, it's people that have such a love for those. It's like a comic book when you're like, how is it going to translate to live action? And everyone wants it to be comic accurate, and when it's not, so everyone seems like over the moon about the designs of the Rebels crew.
Yeah, I mean, it looks good so far. The question is just, I don't know. It's going to be. What do you think about? By the way, there's two other things that came out. Was that there's 2 episodes that I think they're airing both of them.
Yeah,
and we're going to see, and it's about almost feature length film wise. It's going to be about 45 minutes apiece.
What show was it on where we were like, why didn't they release 2 of them? It was recent.
It was something. Was it Secret Invasion?
I didn't watch that.
I think it was Secret Invasion.
No. It was something that I watched, and I was
Okay.
like, that makes so much sense because the first, well, what was it? Come on, because I was like, the first episode was like, it's good. It didn't hook me.
Andor? No.
No, it's between Andor,
Mandalorian? No, we
maybe Mando 3.
maybe Mando season
Mando 3. I think it was Mando 3.
Was it Mando 3?
I think so.
Okay.
Because the first episode was like, and then you saw the second one, you're like, oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That
that's what it was. Yeah, like why didn't you release these 2 together?
Yeah,
that's
right.
what it was.
Well,
Mando 3.
and maybe that's
Maybe they
why
learned their lesson.
Maybe so because and apparently it's like 45 minutes a piece. The runtime is rumored to be like I think like 90 something minutes. So it's almost like a feature length film. Like I think it's like 100 minutes, something like that. But it's
Well, we'll
it's
find
close.
out.
Yeah, but I mean to do that is a really good idea because I think that's going to be within that time.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to find those viewers like yourself to go because if you leave Lost after those 2 episodes, you might be out.
I'm in trouble.
Yeah, you might be out. But the flip side of that is if you go, oh no, I followed that. I'm so curious to your reaction.
I'm so curious to see what we're gonna get.
Yeah.
Who knows? This is his baby though, so maybe he's just like, people need to
Just deal
catch
with
up.
it.
Need to deal with it.
Yeah, I think
this is for the fans.
That's very possible.
happen.
But he would never say that. Obviously,
You
in that
can't
same
say
way.
that.
You can't say that. where
That's
he's
like
just
saying that's like James Gunn is like, none of these movies matter except Superman when that comes out. But go
Right.
see him.
Right.
You can't say like.
But that's exactly what it is.
It's exactly what happened.
What do you think about? I'm gonna shift from.
Oh, here we go.
I'm
I know
gonna
this is
shift
gonna
from
come
Star
to.
Wars into
Yeah, shift.
DC because they have this Gal Gadot stuff. So
Yeah, Shannon texted me that like
Yeah.
early in the morning. She's
Which
like,
Shannon?
My Shannon.
yeah, okay, well you have 2 Shannons.
I do have 2 Shannons. And she texted me, and so I was like, the one that she linked it to as like, oh, I don't trust that site. But then it was like Variety was reporting, it, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna say this: I love her in the role. Wonder Woman, I think, is one of the best comic book movies of all time. I love Wonder Woman 84. I'm in the minority. She's got to go.
Right.
You've got.
too
You
confusing.
cannot. If you have her back, but get rid of Cavill and Affleck, the fans will eat that alive and crap on everything you do.
Well, it's not even.
You
for me-
can't- you
it's-
have to start
Affleck,
over.
But Affleck decided already. Affleck
Yeah.
decided he didn't want to come back, and he did a couple other performances, and he shot stuff for Aquaman. So he was like, I'm going to do this, and then I'm done.
Yeah.
Right. It's the Henry Cavill. I keep talking about this. I made like 57 shorts on it because it's so ridiculous. It's like because the 2 reports out of that Wonder Woman thing is one, the fact that they're doing one in general. So if they do a Wonder Woman 3 because they want Gal back and they know the audience wants her back and it's an Elseworlds thing. Okay, that's the one. That's the only one that makes sense.
Right.
That's
yeah.
the only one that makes
But
sense. If they
how
want to
do
close the trilogy.
You've got to establish that to your audience that
To
these
the-
are Elseworlds.
And to my dad, who's like, what the hell's an Elseworld?
Right. You have.
But that's
to,
part 1. But that's not even the major rumor. The major rumor is that they're just going to reboot it, and Wonder Woman 3 is going to be part of the DCU, and she's going to be Wonder Woman. And that's a colossal error, in my opinion.
colossal error. The fact that she looks, and I don't know the age-wise, but she looks older than Superman, the guy playing Superman.
Well, of course. But I mean, I don't think how much of that. But again,
if
that's
you're going to
not
have them in
nec-
the same thing
But
together,
that's not necessarily.
it's not the deal breaker.
That's not because you don't know
But-
how he's going to write that. So,
But
but
you
it's
can-
just it's going to be confusing to
She-
people, though.
will forever be known and associated with Zack Snyder. Forever.
Sure.
He cast her. That
Yeah.
she was, but it was so that will always be one foot in that other pool. You can't. And this is from me,
I know.
as people call me the DC apologist. I'm saying it. You have to.
You have to move on.
The
It's just
only
too
way
confusing.
I see it happening, the only way, is if they make her Hippolyta, or she's Diana older and their
It'll
Wonder
still-
Woman is a
but-
younger
but
Diana.
you'll understand this stuff.
I
You'll
know.
understand.
I know.
It's like people who are going to see it.
I know.
Going, okay. Oh, so this is the third one. It's gonna and there are the people that they watch Wonder Woman 84. Okay, so this is the third one, and then it's like it doesn't tie in at all. Chris Pine's gone. Everything's gone. She's a new version. She's a multiverse Wonder Woman now, and it's like
Had the Flash made $1 billion, and they were going to keep Ezra, there's more conversations that could happen.
Sure.
But that did not happen. That door is closed.
Yeah.
That world is gone.
And I think that maybe that's what they were banking on.
Over completely.
I couldn't agree more.
You have to.
You have to. It's just too freaking confusing because even I get you look at the Robert Pattinson Batman, right?
Yeah.
The movie made a lot of money. People liked it. It was a different version of Batman. So to keep it Elseworlds and let him finish a trilogy, it makes sense.
And because it's already been out there.
That's right. The Joker, $1 billion movie. Been out there before. They're going to do a second one. It's an Elseworlds movie.
Yep.
Makes sense. Now, the argument could be, well, Wonder Woman was already out there. Fine. You're going to make it an Elseworlds thing, and you're going to you want to close up the trilogy to have one more.
But that was part of his universe.
Yeah.
The Batman and the Joker weren't even part of the same universe.
That's right.
Wonder Woman was part of the DCEU. It is done. You can't.
It's really
you can't.
It's really bizarre how this whole thing is playing out.
Nope. Sorry.
I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it, but nonetheless, I think that what it does play into also is the fact that I think that when the initial conversations happened with Gal, and James Gunn and Peter Safran, they were, as you said before, when James Gunn comes in there, he's got movies that are coming out that he wasn't part of.
Right.
He's got Blue Beetle, who he really liked what Cholo did apparently because he's going to make the character part of the DCU, but not the movie.
That's another confusing
thing. So that's part one. Then he's got Aquaman in the chamber, and that movie. Then Jason Momoa's coming in and doing meetings. Is he Lobo? Is he somebody else?
Right.
That could be confusing. And so there's all these reports. They do 4 rounds of reshoots. So that movie,
4 different Batman are
well, yeah, and but then you have the Flash, which. He says is one of the best. I keep saying he said is the best superhero movie, but he said one of the best superhero movies. That lands like a fart in an elevator, and that movie doesn't do well. And you and I both like that movie a lot. It just
sure did.
Just a lot of people didn't. And so that movie eats it. Shazam 2 eats it. Black Adam cost too much money. If it didn't cost as much as it did, wouldn't have eaten it because it made like $500 million or $400, whatever it made. It just cost too much money, and it was like barely broke even or just lost money, right?
Yeah.
That out of the 3, if I would have told you out of these 3 movies, which one is going to be the biggest money maker? The Flash with Michael Keaton coming back, Shazam 2 off of a very successful Shazam 1, or Black Adam with The Rock, which no one knows about, you would probably
go Flash.
You'd probably guess
Hands
Flash,
down.
Shazam, and then Black Adam.
Hands down.
And that was not the case. So that's a problem. And I'm with you. You got to just say, okay, we just got to cut this.
Yeah.
We got to establish a Superman legacy and move on.
Yeah. He, and Gunn was out there doing what he does. But, he talked a little bit about Shazam, promoting it, but not the way he talked about The Flash. He really was behind The Flash.
Yeah.
And he wasn't, I don't feel he's behind Blue Beetle. He's not.
I think he's behind Sholo.
Yeah. Because kid looks great. The suit looks great.
Yeah.
But it just seems like it's still one foot in that old pond.
Yeah, I'm going to see that on
Are you?
Monday. So I'm very curious.
I think it's going to be a little bit of a surprise.
I'm hoping.
But
I hope so.
What I thought is, and I don't know if I said it on this show ever, what they should have done, it's too late now, is held it off till Superman. Let Superman Legacy be Gunn's first thing, and if Blue Beetle's still good, release it 3 months after Superman.
My problem with
But
Blue,
you can't.
what do you think of the trailers of Blue Beetle?
It looked like a 2000 superhero movie.
It's a little generic.
Yeah, it looked generic.
Yeah.
It looked...
I'm bummed about it because
the generic family, the grandma's throwing up with a big gun.
That was the one that it lost me on that.
It looked
Spy
like
Kids.
The Spy Kids mixed with Steel. That's what it looked like to me.
And it didn't up until then because again I think
The
Sholo
first
looks
trailer was
great.
better.
Yeah,
and the corporate villain of it's like Susan Sarandon is like this is like Sharon Stone and Catwoman.
Yeah.
It's like
We've seen
she's
it.
not going to hold her own against him physically, so they're going to get some faceless thug in an armored suit to fight him, and so he can't battle her at the end. So it's like, I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I don't
yeah.
know.
All right, let's shift back into Star Wars for a second.
All righty.
And I want to talk to you guys about the Mando news. Okay, so there's a report. I talked about this the other day, but I want to get Mike's thoughts on it.
All right.
That The Mandalorian Season 4 could now become a movie as Disney shifts away from streaming titles. And this is according to a shocking new rumor. Disney and Lucasfilm are currently considering turning The Mandalorian's upcoming 4th season into a theatrical movie. And they say that with the writers on strike, there's only so much Disney can do. And Making Star Wars is reporting that one of the plans is being discussed with Disney and Lucasfilm is that Mandalorian Season 4 will become a movie as opposed to a TV show. Theatrical releases have become a priority for Disney over streaming, and there are now concerns that Jon Favreau and Filoni will be unable to make the required 2 seasons of television necessary to lead into Dave Filoni's upcoming Star Wars movie that was scheduled for 2026. The other show is also Ahsoka Season 2. It's unclear what the plans are for that series. As for The Mandalorian, discussions are currently said to be centered around whether the 8 episodes already written can be considered into a single film. So there's a lot to be talked about there for sure, and I want to get your thoughts, Mike. That this is something that makes sense. It makes sense when you as far as
I'm trying not to hide my face here, but go ahead.
well the overall what go ahead.
Come on, what are they doing? We just announced the 3 movies with the dates.
Oh, right.
And now we're gonna put another movie out there that's gonna be.
But do you understand the reasoning behind it?
I get it. The strike is throwing everything off. I was just thinking about this today on the drive here. I was like, man, Mission Impossible was so damn good, and we're gonna have to wait less than a year to see the next one. I was like, oh no,
That's not true.
that might not happen. I don't think it might. I don't think it comes out next year because of Noah McQuarrie and Cruise and how they keep pushing and they want theatrical and this and that. I think that doesn't make that date next summer.
If the strike doesn't wrap itself up by the end of the year, there's gonna be tons of shit.
From what I'm hearing, fall at the earliest.
Well, yeah, there's no chance.
Earliest.
No, that's no. I'd be surprised.
So
if
that
they did
means nothing's going to get going because the holidays will happen. So
Yeah.
these productions won't ramp up until January.
right. So they're gonna need the studio. The
So
studios.
Star Wars. I'm sorry.
No, but the studios need the strike to end by
Toot sweet.
winter because what?
Toot sweet, like fast. That's
yes.
it.
Yeah. But they need it to end by. I think it's end by Christmas time because Warner Brothers especially, Aquaman, Dune, and Wonka.
Right.
They have 3 movies coming out.
3 big ones.
They have 3 huge movies coming out. Warner Brothers is going to be pushing to figure this out because if not, those 3 movies are either going to not be promoted or they're going to be pushed again and they're going to come out in February, March, and we're going to have these jammed up February, March seasons, and all these things are going to start getting pushed again. So leading back into like the Mandalorian side of it, they have that whole season 4 written already. Like,
so it's written. 4's written.
4's written.
Can't do anything though.
Can't do anything about it, but that's the problem is because they then say, all right, well, this is what's supposed to happen. Remember, they had, if like you said, where I understand the face, well, because they had, all right, these are when the movie's going to come out, and then Kathleen Kennedy's like, well, we're going to make sure that we do movies like big events, so like every 3 years, like James Bond, and then there's an announcement a week later that she's doing 2 in a year. So it's like,
I can't.
It's insane, but. And I had our buddy Miguel Fernandez over at Star Wars Newsnet, like, and God bless him. He's one of the best writers over there. But he was like, "Well, this is what she really meant." I'm like, "It doesn't matter what she really meant. She continues.
It's perception. It's the perception.
She goes out and does this. We don't have any material that's written or no books, no things.
Nothing we could use.
This is not what she meant. It's what she said. It doesn't matter what she meant. It's what she said.
The court of public opinion,
right? And then but either way, so they have 57 movies coming out when they haven't had a movie out in 2019, and now they're going to have
57 of them.
Now they're going to have 57 of them, and it's like, so you have, okay, so here's what we got to do. We have 2. This is what they said in timeline wise.
Yeah.
We're now going to do a movie. We're going to have the Rey movie in 2025, and then Filoni's movie in 2026, and then Mangold in 2027, and then they go, just kidding. We're going to have the Rey movie in May of 2026, and then we're going to have Filoni's movie in December of 2026, and then Mangold in 2027. So now, if this report is true, and I should say that I think the report is true that they're talking about it. Now, whether or not it happens, I don't know. But if it does, you can see why it would make sense where they're like, okay, look, we need it because we're linking this up in a Marvel MCU type capacity.
Well,
we need it to link up, and we need these things to come out. We got to put.
So are they saying that Mando 4 and 5 would be a movie?
There is no 5, I'm sure. I'm sorry, it'll just be season 4.
So season 4 is the only thing they're planning.
Season 4 would then be a movie, yeah.
So we're gonna basically take, I don't know, 9 hours of storytelling and make it
9 hours.
Well,
first of all,
seven and a half.
Usually they're about half an hour episodes anyway.
All right, so a half hour and then 9 episodes.
So instead of like a 4.5, 5 hour season,
you're going to do a 2
you're
hour
going to get a
movie.
2:20 movie, which
Well, again,
I'll tell you.
Yeah, there's a lot of episodes. People talk filler episodes.
I don't think it's
we
crazy.
could do without Jack Black and Lizzo. That was a whole episode.
they probably definitely want to wish that they didn't have that episode now.
That episode's worse now.
yeah.
Someone posted a picture of it. I'm like,
Yeah.
it just is worse now.
But anyway, so you've got that now that's potentially going to happen. I think that but the problem is, when does it come out? Like,
don't ask me. I don't know.
They said it would come out. The report says it would come out after the Rey movie. So then what happens there? Then they do the 2025 or 2026 is the Rey movie in May, and then the Mando movie comes out in that spot instead of Filoni's movie.
And they're
then
trying
Filoni's
to
movie
move away from streaming TV, though. That's a
I think they're trying to move. What that statement was basically. Remember that thing that Iger said when Iger was like, "We're not going to." There was too much emphasis on it. I don't think they're moving away from it completely. I think
there should be a happy
Acolyte.
balance.
Did you hear why? One of the reasons, the rumor of why Acolyte is going to be is so expensive. They said it's like got one of these huge budgets. The rumor is that Keanu Reeves is going to be in it.
It's a
rumor.
You know people over there. Come on, man.
I haven't heard that rumor from anybody over there.
Freddie Prinze hasn't said anything.
Freddie Prinze. He's
your buddy.
You have more lock into Star Wars, and he doesn't give a shit about Star Wars.
So that's what I'm saying. So if he knows, he would know.
That's what
and he
I'm
would tell
saying.
you. He's like, yeah, he's in there.
So no, I haven't heard anything.
All right.
I haven't heard shit.
I don't know about
that.
I don't know. Hey,
it's a
maybe.
rumor. It'd be great to him show up in that. But either way, that's happening. Skeleton Crew's still happening.
Yeah.
You know? Now, if Mando doesn't, maybe they're pushing some stuff and they're trying to pull back, because you look at something like Secret Invasion, which ate it.
Yeah.
It aided it as far as critically. It aided as far as views.
Yeah, man.
So Marvel's not that moneymaker that it used to be. Marvel's
they're in a tough spot right now.
Yeah, they are.
They really, the writer's strike is hampered because you could tell they realized, like, we gotta pump the brakes and we gotta rethink things.
For sure.
And then they were out of Comic-Con before the actors and writers strike. They were done.
Right.
But now I'm sure they've got the whole Jonathan Majors thing they're still waiting on. That's like, because the Loki promo, he was in like one shot of it. Smartly so.
Right.
You don't put him in everything.
No,
you don't plaster his
you
face
can't,
over
You
everything.
can't not put him in because it's such a major role.
No, he's the bad guy or
Right.
the main, but you don't put him on the publicity for it.
Not right now. Not until this trial's over.
Even then, like we were talking about that, and some friends of ours, it's tough because look at Ezra, acquitted of what the big thing what he was going through, but doesn't matter. It's the court of public opinion.
But he wasn't. But he didn't go through like a public trial.
I know.
I think if John
Major's is going through a trial though.
I know,
but then
but I'm saying,
the one chick you hear fled the country. The girl that accused him, now they're going after her because they have video of her fled the country.
Right. So that's what I'm saying though. If he's proven innocent in an actual trial,
you got the court of law, and then you have the court of public opinion.
Yeah, but
they're two things.
But I think the public opinion will shift.
Okay, hey, I like the guy.
As
I hope
far
so.
as I'm saying, I don't know whether he's going to be innocent or guilty, but I'm saying if he's proven innocent,
yeah,
I think that's different when you're in a public kind of trial.
It'll be interesting to see.
Agreed, but nonetheless, what will happen, regardless of public opinion, if he is proven innocent, you'll start to see way more promotional stuff from Marvel with him in it.
Yeah.
Okay, before we move on, I want to tell you guys a little bit about both NUTRAFOL and MANSCAPED. That's right. One where you're going to help your hair, and the other one you're going to shave your balls. All right, here you go. Now we're talking about a sponsor for your bouncing bundle of joy. Not talking about a baby. We're talking about your baby makers. That's right. Today's show is brought to you by Manscaped. But just like babies, you delicate little guys have sensitive skin and deserve products that they're not only skin safe, but made with safe ingredients. And that's where Manscaped Platinum's package comes in. From razors to shower care, this package goes above the gold standard for your body hair. So treat your beautiful boys to the world's finest toys. Go to manscaped.com. Use our code BIGTHING for 20% off plus free shipping. I love Manscaped. I love it. I've been using Manscaped forever. And since I got Manscaped, I'm not going to lie. I used to go to the supermarket and just pick out razors and go, oh, good luck. See, it looked like a battlefield. It stings. Anyway, point is, since Manscaped, I don't have that problem anymore. And it's like, I feel like Jack Nicholson, like, where do they get those wonderful toys? It's the stuff they keep coming up with. I use Manscaped all of the damn time. The Manscaped Platinum Package 4.0, it's the one-stop shop for the man who deserves it all. And they designed this package to allow you to fully align your entire hygiene routine with elite products. They got it all. It's the best. And don't forget to apply their aluminum-free, ultra-premium deodorant for that cologne-quality scent on the go. The Platinum Package 4.0 covers all bases from head to toe and hair to ball fro. See? 20% off and free shipping, but use that code BIGTHING at manscaped.com. 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com, but use that code BIGTHING. Use the Platinum Package because the gold standard is no longer good enough. I am so excited that this show is now sponsored by NUTRAFOL. Do you guys know that 80% of men are going to experience a hair thinning in their lifetime? It's normal, but it doesn't have to be fate. You can get ahead of thinning with NUTRAFOL. It's the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement clinically shown to improve your hair growth, visible thickness, and visible scalp coverage. Go to Nutrafol.com/men to take their health wellness quiz. You identify causes of your thinning hair, and Nutrafol will give you a personalized plan for better health, getting through whole body wellness. It works. In a clinical study, 84% of men showed improvement in their hair after 6 months of taking Nutrafol. So take that first step to visibly thicker, healthier hair. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com/men and enter the promo code BIGTHING. Find out why over 4,000 healthcare professionals recommended Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com/men. Nutrafol.com/men and enter that code BIGTHING. That's Nutrafol.com/men, promo code BIGTHING. All right, thank you once again to both of our sponsors, both Nutrafol and Manscaped. If you're able to and you want to help out the show, please go ahead and get one of our sponsors today. It'll help you out tremendously, and it will help us out. And I ask that all the time. People always ask, hey, you don't do live shows too much anymore, and we can't do super chats and can't do that. How do I support the show? If you want to support the show, you support yourself, and you get one of our wonderful sponsors here, too. The link is in the description. It's also the pinned comment there, so please go ahead, check it out. All right, so Giant Freaking Robot has said that they're convinced that Lucasfilm is planning a what-if style TV series that's going to explore the Star Wars many alternate timelines. Marvel Studios has been able to do that with, obviously, with their what-if series, but some of these potential ideas, what if Anakin had never become Darth Vader? What if Obi-Wan Kenobi trained Princess Leia instead? Those are just a couple of questions that a spinoff could look like. It's unclear whether it be live action or animated, though the latter seems more likely. Episodes similar to Tales of the Jedi could explore the world between worlds, and I guess Filoni would be involved if it happens. However, we've been hearing similar rumblings, so fingers crossed that the project doesn't get lost amid the strikes and Bob Iger's plans to scale back on Star Wars TV shows. This is something that's been rumored forever, and they've actually done comic books, in the alternate timelines and all of that. And the one thing that threw me off when I was reading the report is I always just assumed it would be animation.
Yeah.
Live action, how would they even do live action unless you do a lot of deep fake stuff?
Yeah.
Right?
I was thinking, I was like, I mean, with What If on Marvel, it's if you're doing live action, that means you're building completely different sets every single week. But if you've got the volume,
then you can do it.
I don't want to say it's easier.
Or
more cost effective and easier to do. But you're still building interiors of ships, and every episode is different. It's vastly different. So it's like,
I just can't see how they would do a live action.
I would love a live action like Marvel What If as well. Like,
yeah, right.
I just think the concept is so good. Those comics are so much fun.
Yeah, it'd be great to see live action, but again, if you're going to do a live action of,
I'll say this. You also have to look at it though. I think, and this is something I've always kind of gone. I don't understand. Like the Marvel What If doesn't do well. No one talks about it like they talk about the live action, and it's a disconnect with the animated. But I'm like, what do you guys want? It's great. And the style that they use with that Marvel was great.
I loved What If for Marvel. I would love to see a What If series.
But yeah, there's
for
this
Star Wars.
disconnect with animation and live action that you're just like.
Well, look what we were just talking about
than.
with Rebels, right?
But look at Spider-Verse and Mutant Mayhem.
True.
Like people are going nuts. It's like we need to get out of this mindset of like, it's lesser.
It's true. I think that I would love to see a What If series.
Yeah,
I
man.
just don't know how they would be able to do a live action version of it because if you
got
have, if you
the
think about it,
actors,
if you,
you're right.
let's say you have Luke,
Yeah.
right, or not Luke, they've done Luke before, but are you going to deep fake Han Solo?
Yeah,
Or are you
you're
going
right,
to
you're
deep
right.
fake everybody? You can do it, but I mean, you talking about expensive. I mean, they're trying to scale back. You've got a better shot. It makes more sense that it would be animated because that's instead
Yeah,
of seeing
you're right, you're
another
right.
Clone Wars series or Bad Batch season 83, you know, or
Yeah, you're
like,
right.
I love the Tales of the Jedi.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, something different.
Like something different. And to see what would happen and making it really emotional, basically taking a page. I think the most emotion that has been taken out of animation recently was Visions, right? There's a lot
Yeah,
of there's a
yeah.
lot
Something
of
different.
emotion.
Yeah, yeah.
And kind of do those types of stories and you can do an anthology series obviously because you don't each episode doesn't have to tie into it. It's like what happened, like the idea of Anakin never turning, that'd be incredible. You do like 3 episodes of that,
Yeah.
you know. But there is something to be said if they could pull it off in live action. If they could pull it off and do everything, I'd love to see that in live action.
Yeah.
But then who knows? Then next week they announce it's actually going to be a movie.
We're making What If the movie.
It's going to be What If the movie. So I don't know. I think it sounds great. I'm very curious
Yeah.
what you guys think. Do you like this idea of the What If? Do you think it's going to happen? Do you think also because of the pushback because of the strike that it's another project that could potentially be buried? Sticking with Star Wars again and going into, I want to talk about Ezra. Now this isn't a story. This is just something. So, buddy you know Ryan Nielsen, right?
Yeah.
So Ryan wrote to me
I
the
love
other day.
Ryan.
Ryan's great. And Ryan wrote to me the other day and he was like, hey, because he always texts me about like Star Wars stuff. And he's like, what do you think? And he was really excited. And I feel
He's
like
always excited.
He's always excited.
Always
And I feel
excited.
like I pooped on him when he did this. But he's like, he goes, what do you think if by the end of this they turn Ezra bad? And I wrote back, that would be terrible. It would be absolutely terrible. Because the one reason that I also want to bring it up is because I don't think it's outside of the realm of possibility that they try to do this with the way that they've been writing stuff lately. It would be such a horrendous move if they made Ezra Bridger bad because his whole so you know because you haven't seen all the seasons. His whole like if people thought and they speculated that it was going to happen during the season because Maul was trying to convert him and the Emperor at one point and he dealt with a lot of anger issues and everything too. And you're like, this kid could turn.
Anakin 2.0?
So that's what you thought, but he didn't. And it was actually a great arc for him. He took the balance of a Jedi, and by the time he made the ultimate sacrifice at the end of the show, and he became so balanced with the Force and everything that he became a pretty strong Jedi. And you're like, okay, great, I like the arc. If they now poop on that because it's now they're leaning on, well, Sabine is now the lead Jedi, and Ahsoka now is teaching her, and he can't and Thrawn's turned him into his
Well,
Vader.
let me ask
I'm
you
like,
this.
ugh.
Where do they go? Okay, so, I mean, we really haven't seen much of him outside of that hologram.
Yeah.
Is he even in the show?
Not until the end. I don't think I think he's going to show up.
Then
at the end.
it doesn't happen. But if he's a major character in this show, which I don't think he is, where do you go with this character? If you're saying in Rebels he found balance and he was this great kind of balanced Jedi, like what do you do with him then?
I think that
You've got to.
I think you
for a character.
He's got to
so
come
that
back.
I could see them going. What do we make him bad? I'm just saying, looking at story wise, what do you do with the character?
But it's just so like it would go so against
Okay.
what he was doing the whole time. It's like you
But-
just pooped on his whole journey.
What about those of us that don't watch Rebels and we're in it like, oh, this would be kind of cool.
Sure, but there's a ton of people who do. That's the thing.
You're
is
right.
that
Hey, it's
I
a
don't
tightrope
know.
walk.
I just
He's tightrope
act.
act.
But I don't put it only like I said. I bring it up because I don't put it past them in the same way that you're gonna. And the guarantee is the opposite side of the thing.
Oh, the redemption arc.
The
Here we
redemption
go.
arc. It's like, okay, let me guess. Balin,
Oh, God, no. Please,
Balin's
no.
apprentice is going to turn good.
The blonde?
Yeah.
No.
She's gonna
Please,
turn good.
God, no.
And it's
Please.
just like, it's so predictable. It's like, again, I cannot wait for us. My hope is that I was like, yes, that they went against that cliche stuff, and I was so wrong, and I apologize because I thought they were going to do the bad guy turn. I thought they were going to do the good guy turn, and they just focused on that person's bad, that person's good, and there's some people
we'll
in
see
between.
in
We'll see in a
couple
couple of
months.
weeks. No, in a couple months
Well, when it's over.
when it's over. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
it's-
You gotta watch the whole story to
Gotta watch
see how
the
it
whole thing.
unfolds. Come
truth.
on now.
That's
Jesus.
truth. And we're gonna have to have the energy to do it because there's a lot of stuff coming up. And if you want the energy, how about some AG1? I can tell you right now, guys. AG1. I love Athletic Greens. I've been taking it So even more so now, the way that I've been incorporating it into my routine. Let me tell you a little bit about blah. All right, everybody. Our next partner is AG1, the daily foundational nutrition supplement that supports whole body health. So you guys know about AG1. If you're brand new to this show, you're going to hear about them because I talk about them on every single show. Why? Because I incorporate them into my life. I'm a coffee drinker. I'm not going to lie to you. I drink coffee. But what this has done for me is I take AG1 every morning. I have this big, large cup. I think I got it from the zoo when I went with my kids. Doesn't matter. I put cold water in it. I take some AG1, and it gives me enough to where I actually save money on coffee now because I used to need like 2 or 3 cups a day and 1 cup of coffee. 1 cup of coffee, but I have AG1 in the morning. That's my vitamins. That's everything that I need because I didn't want to take all these different supplements. I wanted just a single solution that supports my entire body and it covers my nutritional bases every day. It helps with sleep quality, a better immune system, all of that. It's great. I take it in the morning right when I wake up, and it just makes me feel amazing. Since I've been drinking it, I've noticed just an overall feeling of health. I mean, I really have. It's like I have a little bit more pep in my step, guys, and I've been doing it for a bit. You guys have said it over the last year. You have so much more fun doing the show. Yeah, because I also feel good when I'm waking up in the morning, getting ready. So if you want to take ownership of your health, you try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/bigthing. drinkag1.com/bigthing. Check it out. All right, thanks to Athletic Greens, man. AG1, I love them so much, and I know a lot of you guys have been signing up to them because of this show. Thank you so much. Once again, drinkag1.com/bigthing. Let me know when you get them also, too. The link is in the description, and it's also the pinned comment below. Okay, moving over. Now, Mike, you said you were up for Star Wars Hunters, right? That game, that trailer that came out. You remember that one?
Yeah.
So now it seems that Nintendo Switch and mobile game Star Wars Hunters, which originally was supposed to come out in 2021, has now been pushed to 2024. I feel like the games get pushed back even more than the movies.
Every game gets pushed back nowadays. But it's 99.9% of the time, it's always for the best.
Well, Guided News reports that publisher Take-Two Interactive's latest earning call has stated that the new Star Wars Hunters will be formally released in the late fiscal year 2024 period. Take-Two Interactive spoke positively of their partnership with Zynga, indicating that the partnership has been beneficial and will likely continue. So now there is an update. Since the original publication of Guided News Report, notable Star Wars gaming content creator Ezra has taken to Reddit to clarify that the Take-Two Interactive actually said later fiscal year 2024 versus late during their earnings, implying that Star Wars could still release in full late 2023. The rest of the original report follows. I mean, either way, I tend to agree with you of what you're saying there, too, about games.
Yeah.
It's more so like if they feel like they have to push it back 6 months, 5 months, probably for the best. They want to get everything right. It's the one thing that I don't understand is when they put a game out, it's like, yeah, sometime in 2028, 2027 when it comes out. It's like so much things can happen. Why even like they have that one trailer that came out from like the High Republic game or whatever it was? Game looked awesome, but like who even knows when that game's gonna?
Yeah, gaming. Marketing is so different, and again, I don't know it that much. The one I do follow quite often is Mortal Kombat, and the head creator of that, Ed Boon, he is every social media. When are we getting news? When are we getting news? He's like, when we have stuff to tell. It's a release schedule, and when we do, we'll let you guys know. New game comes out next month, and I think the first trailer dropped like maybe 3 months ago. Okay, so they're 4 months, and we all knew he was working on it. We just didn't know exactly. Some people thought it was a new Injustice game, which is the DC fighting game. So they kept it close to the vest. You know, they and now gearing up. It's gonna release on time. We're getting content every single week. It's fantastic. You know, because it's building the hype to it. Because I learned this early on with mine and Brad Gilmore's book, because we wanted to start talking about that really early on. And the publisher was like, no, don't. We'll do the timeline, because if you start hyping it now, and you just on social media saying about it, and things could get delayed, and like the movie get delayed. It's like the more it's out there, the fans start going, oh, geez, you've been talking about this for 2 years. Where is it? There's a book that I'm really interested in coming out now, but this guy has been hyping it so much, and I'm so excited for him. But at this point, I'm like, dude, where's the fucking book? Right. You've been talking about this 2 years. Where's the fucking book? Like, so games, it's like, it's a fine line. But then you've got the other side, like that Rocksteady. Everyone was excited for the new Batman game, and it was going to be a Suicide Squad game.
Rockstars or Rocksteady?
Rocksteady.
Okay. Bebop?
Yeah. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League, and Rocksteady did the 3 Batman films, which are some of the greatest Batman games or superhero games of all time. And we were like, where is this? Why aren't you talking about it? And then they dropped a trailer. It's like, oh, okay, it looks good. And then more news started coming out, and then it's like a battle pass system, and it's online, and just the feedback they tore it apart.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we're delaying this. It was supposed to come out like 2 months, and like, we're delaying it until next year. It's like,
Yeah, because
it's been delayed,
Yeah,
but now this delay they're going in and revamping a lot.
So that's what, and
Sucks.
so that makes sense that they're doing. I'm not
No,
too critical
yeah.
on this. If they feel like they have to get it right, then they get it right. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
For me, it's the video games are more so where I sit back on those when they come out.
Yeah.
And I let the experienced gamers and the people come out and go, this is a good game. This is like when I was gonna get Jedi Survivor. I still haven't finished the freaking thing, but like I was gonna get it after I heard like the word. And I heard really good words about it. And I heard from Star Wars fans.
Yeah,
They like check it out. That's kind of where I lay back and go, let me see what the community's saying about it. If it's a good game, and then I'll check it out and try it. Like, and I'll get people commenting and going, you got to check this one out. So that's probably the same thing I'll do for Hunters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that and Bounty Hunt was Bounty. There's Hunters and Bounty Hunter, right?
Yeah, so there's 2 different games. Obviously, this is the Bounty Hunter game, and then there's this game. So
Yeah.
I didn't even know until 2 seconds ago that they were different. So that's why.
That's
I said,
That's not your fault. That's
Right.
marketing.
Right. So there's 2 different games.
That's a bad thing there, man. What are they doing?
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about Loki season 2. Now
Okay.
I forget.
Yes.
Where did you land on Loki season 2?
Not a fan.
I mean season 1.
Not a fan.
You weren't a fan of it,
No.
right? Okay. I loved it.
Acting wise, fantastic.
Yeah.
It just didn't catch me.
Okay.
Like I didn't like that, and I didn't care for. I shouldn't say that. I liked WandaVision up until like the middle of the season. I love what they were doing the first few episodes, and then it just kind of was like, all right.
See, I really enjoyed it. I do think
Kind of lost me, Loki. I just did.
I do think though that this is because if you've been following the stuff that's going on with the MCU
Yeah.
as far as the actual story, what I thought they did very well. I push back against people. I've seen so many people say this. I made the point that phase 1 to 3 was a fantastic build up to how we got to the end game. Right?
Sure,
It was
yeah,
like
it was.
now not every movie had things that would tie into the overall through line, but a lot of them did. This I don't know what the through line is yet for the new phase. I don't know really where it's going.
We're into the second. Yeah, you imagine being into phase 2, middle of phase 2, and you still had no idea.
Still had no idea
on.
what was going on, and it's
That's-
like, and by the end of the Avengers,
Yeah.
by the end of the Avengers, they had the post-credit scene of Thanos, and even if they didn't know exactly what they were going to do with him, they still set him up.
Yeah.
And he was still there. I mean, yes, people can say, well, they already set Kang up. Yeah, but he
They
just got
set
beat up by a
Kang
bunch of ants.
Ant-Man beat him up.
Ants beat him up.
I remember coming out of that theater going, your big threat that you just set up and that they were talking about in Loki season 1 just got beat by Ant-Man and some ants.
And ants. You're carried
And
away
then,
by ants.
yes, I know at the end there's thousands of them. I get that.
Right.
But still, you just imagine if Thanos was beat by Hawkeye and Black Widow and
well, that was the thing when
An Age of Ultron
when
or
Thanos
something.
came back in Endgame from being
Yeah.
the younger version of him.
Yeah.
It was terrifying.
because
And
you knew he's like
how
they're
they-
screwed.
Because how they did it, it was terrifying because it wasn't like 50 of them. It was just another version of him, but it was terrifying in how they did. And you're like, oh, how they get this is like a younger dude who now didn't have to go through that whole mission to get all the stones. He's almost there.
Yeah.
And this is him at not having to go through a lot of crap. So that was set up. That was done very well in the build up towards it, and the way that they set up the stones from the beginning and
Yeah.
everything. Like this one has been, I don't know what the hell it is. However, this is why I think that Loki season 2 could actually start to develop that because we need to get to the multiverse, the Kang dynasty, the multiverse saga, like all. It needs to lead to all that. So this has to be a major moment in that, right?
I don't know.
What do you think? Doesn't it make sense that it would be? Out of all the things that could tie into the multiverse and
I'm just trying to think. Okay, looking ahead, you still have to introduce the X-Men.
I don't know. Do you?
They're part of it, aren't they? Are they
until,
after the multiverse?
I don't think you need to. I don't think you need. I don't
still
think you
need to
should.
You need to introduce the Fantastic Four.
True, because and you can introduce them at the end. But I think Secret Wars will have some of the X-Men in it for sure. I think Deadpool will start to play into how the X-Men are going to play into the MCU. But I think if you want to get away from all this multiverse stuff and you want, because it's too confusing for everybody and
But isn't the multiverse thing that their fave 6?
Leading up until 6, you can't get away from it.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing. But I'm saying if you want to sustain the Marvel brand afterwards, you have X-Men, and you can do X-Men movies, and you can do an X-Men basically universe. And X-Men is basically the entire thing with some Fantastic Four movies attached to it, but a Wolverine franchise, a Cyclops franchise.
I read it was like a fan thing on Twitter or something, or someone said they go, you know what would have been awesome if when you finally introduced the X-Men, and it's kind of like its own thing, and you're like, this is what the world would have been like without mutants. And that was the MCU all before that, and then it goes forward after that.
Yeah,
and it's a restart. Like, this is on our world. It restarts. It's. I'm not one of those people that says it should have ended at Endgame.
No, me either.
I'm not one of those people. But
it should have been written better after Endgame. That's what it should have been done. It just has been
I
written.
I have no idea. I don't know what an answer is, because for everything I didn't like, there's a lot I liked. So
Yeah, there's some stuff. I mean,
I don't know.
It's going to be. Loki is the question, though, because if they tie in this whole thing and they tie in how the multiverse can work with Kang and all of that, they can then start to set up, because that will lead into something having happened in the Marvels. You would assume the Marvels is going to be.
I thought Secret Invasion really kind of isn't that supposed to set up the Marvels, like what they're dealing with?
I don't know. I watched 2 episodes of Secret Invasion, then I bailed on it.
I didn't watch it.
Yeah, not a lot of people did. So if that was the case, that's the problem that they're running into now, is that not everybody's watching everything anymore. People used to watch everything.
Yeah. I went out on again, I'm not patting myself on the back. I just, when I found out that the AI was used on the show, I didn't watch it.
Just for the art in the beginning?
Okay. It's one of those things, and people are like, it's so small. It's like, it always starts small.
Yeah.
And then it's background actors.
Well, then let's talk about some AI. Here we go. Listen to this. All right, so Disney, the Walt Disney Company, has reportedly created a task force to study artificial intelligence and how the tech can be applied across the entire entertainment conglomerate, according to Reuters. Launching earlier this year, prior to the Hollywood writers' strike, the group aims to develop AI applications in-house and form partnerships with startups. Disney reportedly has 11 current job openings seeking candidates with expertise in AI or machine learning for various sections of the company. The news comes as Hollywood writers and actors are currently on strike, with one of the points of contention involving the industry's exploitation of the tech. AI is being seen as a larger threat to the job security of actors and writers in an industry already famous for not being the most stable source of income. The job offerings stretch across Walt Disney Studios, Walt Disney Imagineering, Disney Brand Television, and their advertising team, the latter aiming to build a next-generation AI-powered ad system. The aim is to find practical applications for the tech and potentially curb the soaring costs of movie and television production, especially the former, as massive box office returns are more difficult to come by in the post-pandemic era. So what do you think about this task force, Mike?
It needs to go to the way of the dumper.
The task force?
Yeah. Come on, man.
So
there's a lot. I'm dealing with this at work, and I talk to people about this all the time. They're like, one guy's like, AI, it's inevitable. It's here to stay. And I go, it's only here to stay because people are using it. It doesn't have to be there. We don't have to use it.
Yeah, but you know it's going to.
Because people will.
100%. It's the same reason like people, like computers and everything else.
Right, but I was like I see this, and I saw this an article, and I was like, there's AI being trained to fight cancer and surgery.
Right.
Do that.
Well, yeah, but then that was
entertainment and art it's from the foundation of AI is it's a faceless the entity. It's the entity.
Well, it's also,
it can't tell a story based on the loss of your family that you write, and it's the emotion that we as creatives bring to the table. AI can't replicate.
I agree. I mean, look, the one thing I've been talking about a lot too is it's like the Ready Player One of it all, right? So the thing is, there's no world where a lot of our generation are going to sign up to the idea of what AI, for everything that you just said, and I happen to agree with you. But the other side of that is a 6-year-old right now.
You're right.
Growing up in it, and then just that's the way they grew up was with AI. That's the way that they're going to watch stuff, because there's this report that I said, I brought it up like 8 different times because I think it's crazy, and I actually think it's the way that it's going to actually go down. There was a woman who was an AI expert, and she's talking about basically the way AI is going to work. This is why I think SAG is fighting for as hard as they are, because they got to get paid for this type of shit. What would happen? Let's say that you come home from work and you want to watch a romantic comedy, and you're like, well, I'd really like to see young Channing Tatum and young Julia Roberts in a movie, and I want it to be about this, and I want it to be set in New York, and it's going to create that movie for you. If you want another season of The Sopranos and you don't want it to end, it's going to create it for you. You got to be subscribed to it. You got to pay for it. That's where AI is going to go, and
That's terrifying.
It's terrifying, but it's going to happen. And like
but
I
so
said,
we just get everything we want.
Have you met the human race?
Have you seen the movie WALL-E? That's us.
100%.
That is 100% us.
Absolutely.
When I go to work at Universal Studios every day and I see the ECVs and the mobile app ordering, and it's like we grew up on Terminator, fighting this stuff.
James Cameron said it recently. He's like, I told you guys.
How did we all suddenly go, okay, let's do it. Let's sign up for it. No, we should be Reese.
Yeah.
Why are we like, and you're right, because who grew up with it? Like, you and I will never, hopefully you, but I know I will never watch a movie like this.
No,
vertically.
I can't.
But kids today with their phones, that's
can do
all they
it.
shoot
Right.
now. So to them, that's normal.
No, I can't do that.
To shoot horizontal, they're like, it looks like, why?
Roxy does it too. Roxy said it recently.
But
She watched
Roxy
it on her
is the
phone.
generation, she shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
She grew up on movies and TV where it was like this. So she's this weird generation that's right on the cusp.
I don't know if she necessarily watches it like that, but even I
But she'll
can't
film
watch.
like
I
this.
just can't watch it on my phone. I just can't watch a movie on my phone.
I'm not even talking movie. I'm just talking vertically as opposed
Right,
to
right.
horizontally.
Yeah, I do vertically.
People shoot vertically. They think like they're gonna try and make a movie vertically. These
right,
new
right,
generation of
horizontal,
filmmakers,
right.
because you're holding it like this.
Right. I can't do that.
And we talk about the Scorsese of it all, and we're gonna be that generation where it's just like talking about cinema and movies and
Easily. But that's my point. That answers your question as far as it's inevitable. Those people who are talking to you at work, it's how it's going to be. It is, and it's because as people are growing up, it's just what they're going to know. And it's like the Back to the Future Part 2. You know, they come into the thing, they make their pizza, and it comes to it's the future, and it's what's going to happen. I think it's scary as hell.
It's terrifying.
The idea again, like if I want to watch Sopranos the next season, you know what? I want to watch a season of The Sopranos where Tony actually doesn't die. He gets shot, but he recovers, and they do a full season of this, and then they make this thing for me. In theory, you go, oh, that's kind of cool. But to Mike's point, but it's not going to have that same kind of emotion in it, and it's going to create what they think Tony Serco Paulie should say, and these other. It's crazy.
I'll say this, and again, it keeps better and better every day. But I have not seen one AI-generated image where I can't go, "That's AI."
Right.
100% like, oh, my buddy, let's go, that clown.
You want to call him out on air now?
Yeah, but like
he would break that kid's balls all the time.
He was like on this supporting the actors, blah blah blah, with his strike sign, and the next day,
I think you're a little hard on that.
Nah,
I think you're a little hard.
You're posting an AI picture, an AI generated that you could tell was AI generated. You 100% can tell. You could have just gone online, Google Jensen Ackles Batman.
Yeah,
tons of fan art, Photoshop stuff drawn up. And if that had done, I wouldn't have said a thing.
I know, but I'll tell you
it was the AI thing.
No,
but fucking lit my ass up.
There was something. No, I did a Zuckerberg versus what's his face, Elon Musk video, and I did a Google search for that image. And there was like, there's an artist that did it, and I put it as a thumbnail. And one of our like longtime fans, which is my favorite username, Darth Vader's burnt asshole. It's one of my favorite. And he's a very big supporter of the show, and he's very respectful. But he's like, why did you make the thumbnail out of an AI image? And I was like, it's just what I Googled.
Yeah.
And I Googled it and looked at and got to your point of like,
you got to be a little more. It's a little more research.
Now you have to do more research, and I didn't do that. And I'll be honest, I looked and it said an artist had rendered this thing through, and I guess then through AI. But I made it as the thumbnail, and I was like,
so and in that comment that everyone says he asked for the artist, but if you look at the comments, every single one of them was it's AI, it's AI, it's AI, it's AI.
Yeah,
and he still didn't take it down.
But I think you're looking to just break that kid's balls.
Of course I am.
Yeah,
because
you should break that kid. He's a kid. Leave him alone.
He's not a kid. He's 25 years old. Kid.
I don't know. I just don't. I
know you don't.
I don't know. I don't like to get into these things. All right, let's do one last story and get out of here.
What do you got? I gotta get out of here. What do you got? Oh yeah, this guy.
Yeah. I want to end with
on a high note.
Well, yeah, I guess so. Because Elemental was one of these movies that I was saying, "Oh, yet again, another bomb for Disney."
The Disney stinker.
Another Pixar movie that keeps eating it. And I kept saying, Elemental, people love it, but it just didn't do well. So Pixar's Elemental, it opened at 29.6 domestically, that's bad. It's the second worst opening for a Pixar film ever, and the project was dubbed a costly flop. And so, not helping it was a disastrous Cannes Film Festival, coloring the perception of the film, even as later critical reviews saw a big jump in positive reaction. So the soft domestic opening also followed in the wake of last year's Disney animated films Lightyear and Strange World, making just $226 million and $73 million respectable in total box office worldwide. It's estimated those two lost the studio combined $300 million. Then came a surprise. The fortunes of Elemental began to change. The film hung in there, seeing minimal drops between weekends and scoring solid word of mouth. In fact, the film has become something of a sleeper hit, pulling in $425 million worldwide thus far. Now, Disney had issued a press release to squash reports that the film was a flop, saying it had more spark than fire upon release, but it also didn't evaporate at the box office. While its opening was terrible, the film's domestic gross of $136 million so far is about 5 times its domestic opening weekend haul, which is a rare accomplishment in a theatrical world. They add that no Pixar movie has seen a multiple like this since the studio's 1995 Toy Story. It's also the first original animated film to pass $400 million since 2017. Elemental's in theaters worldwide and will hit digital on August 15th. This is a big story because this doesn't, especially today, the theatrical, where movies, like you look at Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Mission Impossible did well worldwide, so it's not a flop, and it made money, but it didn't do well domestically. And with Barbie and Oppenheimer, ain't coming back in domestic-wise.
No, but someone posted a report I saw on Mission the other day. They were saying that no one's reporting on it because it's doing incredibly well. So the legs on it every week have fallen less and less. So it's got legs, which we knew Tom Cruise films have legs.
It's doing legs overseas. It's
it's
not doing well.
But he always does better overseas. Tom Cruise always does.
Great, but that movie's not a flop in any stretch of the imagination, but it didn't have the domestic haul that it wanted to. But my point is that with movies like Barbie and movies like Oppenheimer, but you ain't coming back. Now, Elemental didn't have any competition in the kids' spirit also. When parents wanted to take their kids to go see a movie, like, what do we see? It's like, well, there's nothing out. What about that Elemental? What, is it any good? I don't know. I'm not sure. And then they go back and they see it, and that's why it continued to do well.
Here's maybe, ammunition to keep movies in theaters longer. Build word of mouth. We used to be able to build word of mouth. I know that. People are talking about Mission Impossible, terrible idea to put it there. It's like they had that date claimed for years.
Right, and they didn't know what Barbie was going to do.
No one, even 2 weeks before Barbie and Oppenheimer opened, they were not tracking to do what they did.
Right.
Not at all.
Not to this extent, yeah.
So it was a once-in-a-lifetime phenomenon, these two films coming together on this date to destroy everything.
Yeah.
Element, good for it. But they're Disney films, and there should be that brand that holds it. Disney always had that brand of quality. So
it changes, though.
The fact that they were able to keep in theaters was, that they didn't go, let's take it out.
It changes the narrative a little bit, too, though, because after the pandemic and because of Lightyear and I can't remember the first one. I think it was
Red?
Well, Red definitely, but it was the first one that did it was the fantasy movie. I can't remember.
Onward.
Yeah. And it was right around when the pandemic hit, and they put it on the day-in release.
They did that whole big thing.
They did that a couple times, and people were, well, that killed your Pixar movies now. It killed Disney movie now. And Elemental was starting to prove that true. And now that narrative shifts a little bit because you're like, well.
But has the ship sailed?
I don't know. I mean, look.
That's the thing. We write these movies off the weekend after they come out. It's domestic. And people are like, it's domestic. It's total box office is going to be 150 million. How do you know that after the first weekend? I know there's a science, there's mathematics behind it, but Elemental proved them wrong.
But I think it really has to do there. And as someone who has kids, there's not a lot of movies out for kids to take the last weekend. I was like, oh, maybe I'll take my kids to the movies.
Not a kid movie.
It's not, and it's for my. I could take my 12-year-old, but I can't take both of them. I took them both to see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it went over the little one's head.
Did it?
But the older one loved it.
Okay.
But it went over the little one's head, and then Paw Patrol's coming out. That one will do good for her. But family movies, there's not a lot of them. So if you have one that can stick in theaters for a while, this can happen.
Yeah.
Now, the same argument could have been made for Lightyear, but Lightyear
That had a whole another
It had a
flack
lot
behind
of
it.
different
The
things
flack
on it
behind
because the
yeah.
difference is, like, I remember
They didn't
Kate
know what it
Mulligan
is,
saying,
and-
well, Kate Mulligan came into the movie with her kids, and the kids were freaking lost because it was too adult for the kids.
On the other hand, I enjoyed it. It's probably one of the only Pixar films I liked.
I didn't mind it either, but a lot of people did not like that movie, and I understood the argument where a lot of my 5-year-old watched it on TV
Yeah.
and was like, "What's going on?" She
Yeah.
couldn't follow it. So I think a movie like Elemental, which she did see in the theater with my wife, and they loved it.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. But all right, we covered a whole bunch here today, guys.
Yeah.
Make sure your comments are known. Let us know what you think about any of these things. It helps as far as the algorithm. You can like it, you can comment. But as I mentioned earlier, if you're able to and you want to support our show, the best way to do it is look at one of those sponsors and say, oh, that's for me, whether it's 1, 2, all 3 of them. Let me know. Please do. And thank you very much. So, Mike Kalinowski, where
Yep.
can the kids find you?
At Mike Kalinowski.
All right, and there you go.
That's
easy,
it. Simple
easy as
enough.
pie.
Yeah.
So streamlabs.com/the Schmodown. If you want to throw in a question to be featured on the next episode of The Big Thing, head on over to streamlabs.com/the Schmodown. Drop a question over there. I will ask it on the following show. So if you ask on today's show, then on the show with Roxy and myself, I will answer those questions. So, and we'll be back soon, and find us. I think it's next week. Are we going next week to that thing?
Thursday.
Is it next Thursday?
Thursday, yeah.
It's next
Better
Thursday.
be
We're
Thursday.
going.
That's what
Look
I
for our
think it
Out
is.
of the Theater of Ahsoka. We'll be reviewing
And
both
see how
episodes 1 and 2.
confused I am.
Yeah,
To
we'll
see how
I'm so curious.
I don't have that.
I'm very curious. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Hit that button. We'll see you on the flip side. Peace.